Welcome to the annual Jericho Foundation Night of Hope. Yes, I know people are saying, hey, haven't seen you since last year, making your way to a table. This is awesome. The bar has been set up, I hear, so there you go. My name is Julie Brown, and it is an honor to be your MC for the evening. So if we could have everyone find your table, unless you're in line for a drink, totally get it. But if you could find your table, that would be great. So about 20 years ago, Joanna Shields came to my husband Tim and me, and she said, I really want to help the people in Bosnia for many reasons, but I want to help them. I want to bring some money back to that country because they're really struggling. And one of the things that she had noticed was that the women there were very talented with making things like this pair of slippers. And she said, would you and Tim, my husband Tim, would you guys help me create an event where we could sell some of these goods to the folks here in Kalamazoo and send the money back to Bosnia? And that is how Joanna Shields and Tim and I got our start at the Ladies Library Association just downtown. And tonight, look what it's grown into. I know, let's applaud that. And you know, Joanna Shields would be the last person to pat herself on the back. But I think we can all agree that she is a symbol of what one person can do. And I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud of the legend that she's become with the Jericho Foundation. So tonight we've got some big surprises for you. We've got some laughs. We're gonna shed some tears, but we're all here to celebrate the great work that this organization has been doing in Bosnia and Herzegovina for all of these years. A couple of things that I want to make sure I mention to you. Anybody going to win the auction for your gift? Who's going to win the basket? Go ahead, be proud, loud and proud. Who thinks they're going to win? All right. So here's how this goes. If you have won your basket, you will get a text. All right? And the winning bidders will be posted on the screen during dinner, so be sure you're looking at the screens. Now, the other thing that I want to point your attention to is at your table, in the napkin that you have, there's a story of a student that's just for you. Like mine, for example, is UROS. Uros, I'm guessing is how we say his name. And we'd like you to during dinner, just take a moment and read about these young men and women who are so grateful for our help and get to know them. And then the second thing that we'd like you to do is there's a postcard. It's got a photo on the front. It's called Believe in Hope. What we'd like you to do is take a pen, and at some time during the evening, write a note to a student in Bosnia. Let them know that you care about them and that they have a purpose in life, and then we're going to send these to them. And I tell you, these kids hang on to this stuff because you let them know that they matter and that somebody far, far away is thinking about them. So would you do that for us tonight as well? And then we'll collect these and send them out. Yeah. At this time, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to eat. So we're gonna have board member Mark Drake come on up and bless our meal and get this meal underway. Mark, take it away.
Zdravo, and good evening. First of all, I want to thank you for coming to the annual Night of Hope. Tonight, I want to share the story of Jericho, their first 22 years, and we want to paint a picture for what the next 22 will bring. Because of your support, we have grown from one scholarship in 2003 to currently 53 scholarships in 2022. And to date, 58 students have graduated from university in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So it's exciting. Great stuff, right? That growth has happened because of all of you. You saw a country that desperately needed and continues to need the hope for a better future. For that, we can't thank you enough. The foundation's success is fueled by your support here tonight. Over 80% of our operating funds are raised at this event. So I want to bring your attention to the end walls. You'll notice on both sides of the room, you'll see our current students. We have 30 students that are 50% and above funded with one-time or monthly donors, which leaves 28 students that are less than 50% funded. And it's with your help that we hope to change those percentages. Our goal tonight is to raise $151,000 to fully fund all 53 students to ensure their education experience. And as we continue tonight, there are three things that I want you to be aware of. Number one, Jericho is very intentional in everything that we do. We're dedicated to understanding Bosnia and Herzegovina, their culture, their educational system, and their past trauma. This understanding truly helps make our program more effective in helping us identify and remove the barriers that our students face. The second thing is we have graduates working for companies in Bosnia and Herzegovina and all across Europe. Our scholars have graduated as doctors, as medical specialists, dentists, veterinarians, teachers, chemical engineers, psychologists, and IT developers. Our students work for companies like BMW and Microsoft, and along with supporting their parents, many of those graduates are even Jericho donors. Number three, with strong relationships with the U.S. Embassy in Sarajevo, growing partnerships with Bosnian businesses, and additional staff in Bosnia, our goal is to increase to 100 students in the next 5 years. And I know with your help, we can make that happen. We are working hard to offer hope and impact even more students. These three dynamics ensure we are good stewards for your investments. Without your ongoing support, our students would not have the opportunities to succeed and change the trajectory of their future. So again, I want to welcome you to the Annual Night of Hope. So let's get started with an exciting evening. But before we eat, I'd like to ask you to join me to give some thanks. If you'll pray with me. Heavenly Father, we just come to you humbly tonight, Lord. We come to you thankful. Father, we're thankful for Jericho and giving us all the opportunity to serve your children in another part of the world. We're thankful for Joanna. Giving her the dream and the vision and the tenacity to move forward when a lot of other people would have quit. Father, we're thankful for people that have helped her to lead, those that have served before and those that you're bringing alongside the board and Joanna to help her lead in the future. We're thankful for donors for stepping up with gifts that you've given them. And Father, we're also thankful for the food we're about to receive. We're thankful for the hands that prepared it and those that are serving it. And we continue to thank you for your blessings, your abundance, for your grace and your mercy. May everything that happens tonight honor you. In Jesus' name, amen. And if you'll remain seated, the staff will begin to serve. And again, we thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening. My name is Bill Trawick. I'm the board president. I've been asked to introduce our internship video. Mark talked earlier about our intentionality. We discovered early on that a college education was not enough. So we brought kids to the United States for 6 or 7 weeks for internships. And we found that changed their lives, not only in education, but working for an American organization is like the 5-star review that we all want on Google. But over there, it's amazing. When the kids go back and they've worked in America, they have a different attitude. They're exposed to different thinking. And one of the things I hear all the time is how kind Americans are and how nice it is to be here. And we take that for granted. But these kids don't. They go back and they really grow with it. But we benefit by having them here. So if you'd like to be a host family someday, and there are a number of those folks here, it'll change your life when these kids come into your home and they teach you what they put up with in their place in their lives. And then if you bring them into your company, you probably don't have any employees that take things for granted, right? They think they should get more money and, a pool and somebody's serving them lunch every day. I exaggerate, but we don't know how well we have it here until you get exposed to these kids who are hungry for success. So we have opportunities every year in July and August when we bring them over. And by the way, that is part of our scholarship. We plan to bring kids here for internships. It's a powerful, life-changing event for them. So I encourage you, if you have an opportunity for us in your business or you'd like to be a host family, just let us know. We'd love to have you. Thank you much. Enjoy your dinner.
A Jericho student has been so fun. It's been really interesting to learn about different cultures and routines and experiences, things that we never would have probably had any exposure to otherwise. It's pretty cool how exponential the impact is. It's not just the one person that is with you or that you're hosting or that's in the program. It's their whole family. It's their whole community. It really feels like Jericho's goals are achievable.
Interns are kind of a part of the way of life at our company, ABB. I think right now we have in the neighborhood of 12 to 15 interns. This kind of educational mission is sort of what I see the internships as. It helps the students with learning and applying things in the real world. We have found that it has increased the camaraderie with our teams that have been exposed to these Jericho Foundation interns. And it's really, again, been beneficial for us as much as it is for the students. So we've enjoyed the interns, and we look forward to doing more in the future as well.
Are you Mike? Are you Big Mike? See? We need a picture of this. Well, Mike, it is nice to meet you. And I have been to Bosnia. In fact, in 2008, Joanna Shields took the first group of volunteers over to Bosnia, and I got to be one of them, and it changed my life. And I understand that you had something very important to do in Bosnia not too long ago. Can you tell us about what you were doing over there?
Where's Joanna? Hey, so I saw the time frame. I'm going to go over a little bit. I apologize. Okay, so my name is Mike Trawick. I'd like to give you some context because I think this is an incredibly important program, and I want to. It's trying to take the experience and share it with you in words, and that's difficult. But I want you to kind of understand what I was lucky enough to go through about 6 weeks ago. So the context I want to give you is, I'm a veteran of the Navy. I have volunteered in India, serving rural teachers. I've gone with John Maxwell's team to do country transformation, where the presidents of these countries call John Maxwell. John Maxwell, if you don't know who he is the #1 leadership guru in the world. And they bring people in to teach leadership values. So we go in and work with government officials and people in the 8 streams of influence, and we serve them by teaching them leadership values. And that's kind of the stuff that Joanna asked me to do in Bosnia. Now, I love these trips. They've been very impactful. It's an honor to be part of them. But we talk about transformation, and I've never experienced a trip like I just had in Bosnia. There are three things I've come to realize that are needed when you're trying to change yourself, your community, your country. There's awareness, there's intentionality, and there's consistency. Joanna got that awareness when Melisa told her, please don't forget me, when they met in the refugee camp in Bosnia, way back before Jericho started. And then the awareness that education was the pathway to build this change that was needed and wanted in Bosnia. The intentionality, my dad mentioned it a couple of times, the intentionality, this is incredible. The process that they take these kids through is not just, hey, we are with you through whole education, which is not something that these kids always have. Their home lives, incredibly difficult. But then, not only are they with them, supporting them with the team that's in Bosnia, who knows the culture, understands their needs, then Joanna started to put together the seminars. And they do one in May and they do one in September. And the one in May, I believe, is the business skills. And then the one in September is more kind of the soul building skills. Right? Because these kids are going to be the transformation that Bosnia needs. They are so hungry. And I got to spend 10 days, and I was supposed to teach them leadership, and I love doing that kind of stuff. But the things they taught me about the struggles that they go through. We did a session where I had 10 groups. We called ourselves the best group because we were the best group. No offense to the other groups. But it was a moment where we could open up. And so I shared maybe some difficulties that were in my life because I was supposed to go first. And then they started to share slowly, right? Because trust isn't easy for them. And the things that they shared, the things that they struggle with, the things that they had to overcome to be where they were with me in that room at that time, they were powerful. And I don't know if you know much about Bosnia, but I mean this in the nicest possible way. It's messed up. Like, they've got 3 ethnic groups that, like, fight each other, and there's a lot of tension, but not in this group, right? They start to learn about each other. They start to meet, start to grow as a community. And that consistently, see, year after year after year, and they're still around. They had alumni come back, right? They had a kid working in Germany. He came back to be with the team because it was so valuable to him. This is the mission that some of you are a part of already, and we're inviting those of you who are not yet a part of it to be a part of it. It is impactful. You will impact the lives of these kids, but your life will be impacted as well. Thank you.
Mike, thank you so much for all that you did over there. Last question. Are you going back?
Of course.
Love it. Let's hear it for Mike Trawick. And all that love and affection. All right, Kellie Shields. Is it you? The stories I could tell you about your husband. Just kidding. Okay, you work for?
I work for Spectrum Health.
Okay. And we're in the internship moment here. So Mike just shared some stories. Tell us about your internship experience with the kids and what we need to know from your perspective.
So these students, as Big Mike said, are hungry for the opportunity to learn. They aren't given the opportunities in Bosnia that we are here. For instance, in their universities, they're not given the hands-on training like we are in America. So when they come to this internship, they get that hands-on component, and then they leave their internship with not only greater knowledge, but a greater sense of self-confidence. And that self-confidence and that knowledge completely changes the trajectory of their lives, their career paths, their job opportunities. As an example, Marietta was a student in the ICU last summer, 2021. And when she went back to Bosnia, she reported that she felt like she had a greater sense of knowledge than the rest of the students in her class. She felt like she had a leg up. And she actually led her entire class with the highest scores. And her university selected her to study for the summer of 2022 in Poland. And so Marietta, honestly, she received that honor because she's brilliant and she works incredibly hard. But if you were to ask her, because she is so humble and so grateful for the opportunity of Jericho, she would tell you the reason she got that opportunity is from her internship in America.
Love it. That is fabulous. And how many more kids do you think you're going to be entertaining at Spectrum Health? Do you guys know how many more interns you're going to be bringing in?
As many as we can place.
I love it. All right, so this is an important program that Jericho is providing, is internships. These kids can't get this in their homeland, so they come here and they really get a wonderful education. Love it, and I was just kidding about your husband. He's a cool dude. Let's hear it for Kellie Shields. All right, so I'm going to wander over here and look at my notes and make sure that I'm keeping this thing flowing along here. Are you guys having a good time so far? And how was the meal? So far, so good. At this point, we're going to do a shout out to, first of all, those baskets that we enjoyed for the silent auction. You wouldn't believe what these guys do to first of all, collect all those items, and then they have to be made to look beautiful. So we want to do a shout out to Kathy Cole. Where are you, dear? Kathy Cole. There she is. She makes them pretty, and she's pretty. Thank you, Kathy. I also want to I want to ask the board members of Jericho to stand. Any board members here tonight? I know you're here. There we go. Board members. Thank you, guys, for all your work. You may be seated. And now I'd like to have staff stand. Joanna, maybe that's you too, honey. They're out there working, as they should be. All right, so we'll do it. Let's applaud the staff. They're out there. Did we feed them? We fed them? Okay, that's good. All right. Now we want to ask if anyone has ever hosted a student, would you please stand? Who has hosted a student? Tim Brown, my husband, we've hosted a student. We got some folks over here. We got some more. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. You know, it's really cool to have these kids stay in your home because, you know, our culture is different, their culture is different, and you have some great conversations with these kids. So if you're interested at all, I hope that you would let a board member know. Okay, last but not least, has anyone ever traveled to Bosnia on a Jericho trip? Big Mike and I have. Who else? There we go. All right. Love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The entire Shields family has been over there. How could you not? Your mother wouldn't have it any other way. Love it, you guys. And, I remember when Jericho, Joanna really, along with some dedicated board members, took this organization from nothing to something. And when I say something, it was moving and scaling so fast that she needed office space. There was a guy in town who owns Cornerstone Technologies, and he said, you can have some of my office space and I won't charge you. And it's been true to today. John Pello, where are you? John, you got to stand up. There we go. You are a generous, generous guy. Thank you so much. All right. What was that? I thought I heard somebody do a shout out. All right. All right. Heidi Bish, this is your chance to come on up.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming this evening and supporting this amazing organization. While we're eating, I get the honor and the privilege to announce our 2 award winners for this year. Our first award is the Hope Award. The Hope Award was established in 2009 to recognize the philanthropic contributions of Jericho contributors and their volunteers. Through this award, we desire to acknowledge the tireless efforts of those who have demonstrated extraordinary commitment to the Foundation's vision. The recipients of this award have invested time and financial contributions, and most importantly, advanced the awareness of the Foundation in our community. Early on, this couple has been an advocate for the youth and education. It was Jericho's great fortune to have them embrace Jericho's mission in Bosnia and Herzegovina. They have supported Jericho through emceeing our events, attending and promoting our events, and even media coverage on Wood TV's 8 West. Getting a hint yet? They bring awareness to the community to increase help with fundraising, finding intern host families, and intern business locations. It is with a grateful heart that we extend this Hope Award to Bill and Terry DeBoer. Please come to the stage.
Well, thank you so much. We are very humbled because compared to what so many in this room have done in the history of Jericho, what we have done really pales in comparison. I was privileged to attend a funeral this week of someone who had been a huge, longtime contributor in a community that I was blessed to be part of. And as I was listening to the funeral service, the message of the pastor really resonated with me. And the message took us through the parable of the Great Samaritan. And you may know the story of the man who was battered and left by the side of the road, and the priest who walked by, and the Christian man who walked by, and then the Samaritan who stopped by to render aid to the man who was suffering. And the Samaritan man who took not only the time to care for the man who had been battered, but to take him back to the inn to pay for the care that the innkeeper would render to that man. And then to offer to pay for any future costs. And it strikes me that Joanna is so much like the Good Samaritan. Because not only did she stop to render aid to someone that she didn't know, but she pledged her commitment to help pay for the future costs for that individual and for other individuals who would follow behind. And by contributing to education, by saying we will step forward and we provide not just for you, but for people who will follow in the path that you have started, is the greatest blessing of all. And Bill and I are so honored to be part of this wonderful organization because, Joanna, what you have started here is blessing not just the families of these students, but blessing the future of this country. And by blessing the future of this country, we are impacting the world. And so thank you for being part of this and for inviting us to be part of this wonderful organization. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you so much. Our next award is the Bryan Era Award. The Bryan Era Award was created in 2012 to honor an unsung hero of the Jericho Foundation. Bryan Era was an individual who worked tirelessly for the mission of the foundation, expecting no reward or recognition for his efforts. Bryan responded to every call for help with a quiet and unassuming commitment. He passed away in 2010, but his dedication to the children of Bosnia will live on forever through the Jericho Foundation. With this award, we hope to recognize individuals whose efforts for the foundation are off the radar but contribute significantly to the success. This couple first caught our vision at an event where they heard about the Jericho Foundation and the need for host families in the U.S. host our U.S. intern students. Even though their lives were busy with 2 active teenagers, they were still drawn to opening their home to host one of the interns. In 2021, our graphic student, Joanna, had the great opportunity to be their first Jericho student. From the very first meeting, our student and this family felt a strong connection towards each other. To this day, they still call their Bosnian daughter and sister. Along with hosting, they have also been a strong advocate with our internship program at Spectrum Hospital. Their humility and generosity defines them. They are truly changing lives in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it is with great honor and gratitude that we present Jeremy and Ruth Harper with the Bryan Era Award. Please come on stage.
When I first met Joanna, it wasn't a coincidence. I didn't know her. I sat next to her at an event at a local church, and I was just soaking in the atmosphere, and suddenly she steps up and she's the speaker. And she said that she had this whole thing prepared, but that she felt that she wanted to share the testimony that started Jericho, and it just captured my heart. And a little while later, I said to her, how can we help? Like, that's my gifting, is helping. And she said, can you host? Yes, we can do that. We have space in our home. We prayed when we bought our home that we would be able to open it up and host people. And we hosted Zorana Soki, and my daughter said it was the sister she never had, and my son embraced her, and she's just wonderful. And it was a small obedience, a small thing for us to do, and it just became such a huge blessing to our family. And to watch her now and to see her succeeding in Bosnia, I just thank you, Joanna, for trusting us to take her into our home, and to have that experience was amazing. And Bosnia is on our heart now, and we just, anybody that's thinking about hosting, come ask us what it's like, because it was amazing. So.
First of all, just thank you so much. It's unbelievably humbling, and we're so grateful to be a part of Jericho. And one thing I just wanted to say is I think when we look at the world, it can seem overwhelming. There are so many challenges, so many difficulties. But when you see something in front of you and you can help, do it. And I think Joanna has done such a remarkable thing through Jericho and is having an incredible impact. And it's such a gift to be able to be a part of it. We got to know Zoki's story, and firsthand, telling us the journey she'd been on, and I really appreciated some of what other people have shared, the things they've experienced in their life, and just how much of a gift being able to go through with the Jericho has been. But what I really want to emphasize is it goes so far beyond that. It makes a multi-generational impact in Bosnia through the scholarships. Zoki supports her sister, she supports her mother. It's changed their entire family, and it's going to impact the multiple generations for Zoki and beyond. I also want you to know, if you're considering being a host family, please do it. It is life-changing. It gives you amazing perspective for our kids who were 10 and 12. It was a wonderful, eye-opening experience. And then if you're considering having interns in your organization, we hosted 3 students at Spectrum Health in Grand Rapids, and it was an amazing experience for the students. But I can tell you, you talk to the physicians, you talk to the nurses that have spent the time with those students, and it has impacted their lives so much. I just yesterday said to our chief medical officer, I said, hey, we might have a couple more students next year. What do you think? And he was like, absolutely. It is such a gift. So thank you for this recognition. It is very, very humbling, and we're just very, very thankful and very blessed to be a part of it. And as I said, my message to anybody tonight is, if you're thinking about getting involved, get involved. Say yes.
Thank you so much, you guys. Right now, we're just going to enjoy dinner for a little bit and take a little break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joanna Shields.
Unfortunately, I'm going to try and get through this. I've had laryngitis the last 3 days. My husband feels like he's been on a vacation because I haven't been talking for 3 days. But tonight I'd like to share a little bit about my story with Jericho, our inspiring students, and then Jericho's exciting future. I met Melisa, a little girl in a refugee camp, in 1995. As I left, she said to me, "Please don't forget me." Those 4 words changed her life and my life. I promised to write her, and we exchanged letters for the next 4 years. In 1999, I had the opportunity to go to Bosnia and Herzegovina again and visit her in her village. It had been almost 5 years since the war had ended, and I had assumed that everything would be rebuilt. The devastation and the ruin that I saw in homes and the lives of people left me with a burden that I could not ignore or forget. My family and I knew that we had to do something. We just didn't know what. We really were out help. It was really Melisa that explained to us what was really needed, and that was education, because education is something that a war can never take away. When I started the foundation in 2000, I never dreamed it would evolve to this level, impacting hundreds of students across Bosnia and Herzegovina. Some of the stories are on the bookmarkers that you have at your tables. As you look at those pictures of those students on your tables, they might look like an average U.S. student living in Kalamazoo or anywhere in the States. But I can tell you that is the furthest thing from the truth. These inspiring young people struggle daily to balance on a thin line. On one side, they see their future. They see what the world could offer them. But on the other side, they see the dark depth of a country that is still not recovered from a war that turned neighbor against neighbor and that continues to hold them back. Those smiling faces on the bookmarkers do not tell the reality of their story. There's a girl that cried for days because her parents had to sell their milking cow for her to have money to take her entrance exam. And when she was accepted, there was still no extra money. She is now on a Jericho scholarship. There's a boy who did not have indoor plumbing and bathed in a tub outside at night so that no one would see him. He is now a civil engineering working in a manufacturing company that services all of Europe. There's a girl who has a parent with such severe PTSD from his imprisonment in the concentration camps that the home has become a constant battlefield. Jericho stepped in and provided living for this student, and she is now on scholarship. In those bookmarkers, you might not also see their determination and their grit. There's the boy who walked to elementary school barefoot each day because he wanted an education so badly. He is now a graduate of Jericho, working for Microsoft in government security. There's a girl who had to use a hairdryer to heat her room and heat herself as she was trying to study because their pipes were broken and they had no heat in their home in the wintertime. Because of you, Jericho was able to step in and repair that heating for that family. We have a student that walked and hitchhiked 50 miles to get to the university to take an entrance exam because his family did not have a car or the bus money for him to get there. It was the last day our scholarship was open, and he found us, and he is now a second-year IT student being mentored by the largest IT company in Bosnia. These astounding stories of suffering, determination, and overcoming obstacles make all of our efforts worthwhile. Our students are from a proud culture with a determination to survive and thrive. And their dreams for a better future are becoming a reality because people like you stepped in to offer a helping hand by partnering with the Jericho Foundation. Ekman, one of our alumni students after he graduated, was saying thank you to me, and I was saying, it's okay, you did all the hard work. And he said, no, you don't understand. You not just changed my life, you changed the lives of my future children and my grandchildren. Now that I've shared a few stories of my experience, my involvement with Jericho and some of our amazing students, I would like to share the exciting news about the future for Jericho. My original plan was always to retire in 2020. I thought 20 years just had a nice ring to it, and I thought that it would be time to pass the torch. In 2019, a committee was formed of past and present board members, and the search began. COVID delayed it a little bit, but still the committee moved on and had several candidates over the next few years. Even though these candidates were very talented and they had the skill set that we needed, every time the board came back with there was a missing component, and that was the heart for Jericho's mission. During this time, I watched board member Kellie Simmons' passion for teaching, mentoring, and encouraging our students grow. The rest of the board and myself suddenly realized that who we were looking for was right in our midst. Sitting in a cafe in Sarajevo, I asked Kellie if she would consider applying for the executive position. A career change was not in Kellie's plan just then, but the seed of a dream was planted and it grew. I am thrilled that Kellie has accepted the role of the executive director and will begin in January of 2023. I'm not going far. As you probably have heard throughout this night so far, Jericho is kind of in my DNA, and I'll still be part, but I will be taking a step back, and I'll be mentoring and consulting Kellie as needed, which I really don't think she's going to need me much. With the transition in place, the board and I are confident that Kellie will continue building the momentum to support even more students in Bosnia. I am at a loss for words to truly express my appreciation and gratitude for each of you here. I wish I could take you all to Bosnia, and I wish you could see the change that you're doing. I'm going to end with one other story. I know I'm going over, but another student told me once when he was thanking me, his father had been basically the town alcoholic. And when we got a scholarship, his father came home clean shaven, dressed up, and said, "Now I need to be the man who has a college-educated son." And he never drank again. So these stories go deep and far. But it's with great excitement that I would like to introduce to you our new executive director, Kellie Simmons.
Thank you so much. So if anybody knows Joanna, they know that she likes to have a schedule and she likes to stick by it. You don't go off the schedule. So, Jojo, we're going off the schedule. You only retire once. So. Okay, we have a couple of things here. One, this is from the Radisson, Jenna. So, the other is, not yet, I haven't even started. So, this is a really difficult one to pull off. To keep a secret from you, let me tell you, not only did I keep it, the board kept it, your husband kept it, although we didn't clue him in for, till halfway through because we were afraid he'd cave. But all of the students, alumni as well, kept it from you. So we have a special gift from them and us just to express a simple, we can't even, it's not simple. The video we're going to show is just a very snippet video of the one that we're going to give you. So in this is the longer version, which is entirely too long to have everyone sit through, but we wanted to highlight it, and so we did a quick 5-minute video, and again, it just barely scratches the surface.
Hi, Joanna. I want you to feel very happy when you listen to this, because you made us so happy in our lives.
How does it feel to know that your faith was so strong that it's been changing lives for more than 20 years now?
Hello, Jojo. Thank you so much for this wonderful and crazy adventure I'm part of.
Hello to the bravest woman with the purest heart. Yes, that was a big hello to you, Joanna. Thank you for everything. You gave me a great life opportunity and experience.
Dear Joanna, thank you for all the moments you spent with me, for all the love and support you gave me. I'm gonna miss you so much.
Thank you, Jojo, for starting all this. Thank you for the impact you had on our lives.
Hi, Joanna. I just want to say thank you for everything that you did for me, for my family, for all Jericho students. I mean, it's just incredible.
My every dream and my every wish for my education somehow became reality.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, because now that story is also part of us now.
I'm so grateful that I'm a part of Jericho family, because when it was the hardest for me, I had someone who believed in me.
We lived in a really hard situation, but even as a kid, I knew I wanted to study, and seeing you and all the people from Jericho, it made me feel whole.
Well, hi, Joanna. I love you with all my heart.
I just wanted to say a really quick thank you for everything you have done for me. I will truly appreciate it, and I will never forget it. Thank you.
Since I first met you, you've been the person who is changing my life.
You're just one sweet soul, and we need more people like you in this world.
I will always remember you, and you will be always part of my heart, because you were like mom to us.
Our mom
I call you Dad. For all of us, you are our like mom. I see in your eyes you are doing this for all of us.
Thank you for helping out not just me, but my whole community and this whole country for more than 20 years. Frankly, you're a legend.
You did a generational change, so we are very proud of you and we love you.
I want to say thank you for everything what you did for me. Thank you for all your support and love, and you will always be a part of my life. Thank you one more time.
Thank you for always being there for students.
Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for every single seminar and wonderful internship in USA. Because of all that, I easily found my first job right after graduating, and I'm able to live a more comfortable life now. So I just want to say I love you and wish you all the luck in the future.
Hi Joanna. When I first heard you're retiring already, I thought it's not possible. I wish you all the best.
I saw how great person you are and how big your heart is. And thank you, really.
Thank you for your support, unselfish support. So now that you're retiring, I really hope that you're going to be a little selfish and think about yourself, because Jericho students will always have your back.
Thank you for everything. You rock, and happy retirement.
Hello Joanna, I want to thank you in the name of all Jericho students for being here for us and dedicating a great deal of your life, almost 30 years, just in this mission of helping young people in Bosnia. So I wish you a pleasant retirement. You deserve it. It's not bye.
I guess we've come to an end of one great Jericho chapter. I just want to say thank you for putting so much effort and your time and your hopes into this foundation, and thank you for being there for all of us all the time. I know you're still going to be involved, but I'm hoping you're going to enjoy all the new adventures waiting for you out there, because you really deserve it. Love you.
Dear Jojo, I want you to remember that you changed lives. I'm so glad and I'm so blessed that I have met you when I did. You have changed my life and you have changed the life of my family. I love you and I'm very thankful that I've met you. And please just remember, we all love you. You created a whole new family, Jericho family.
So Joanna, you will not find that in the budget. So that's off the record. Nobody knows where that came from. My job tonight is pretty quick here. First of all, the board would like to say thank you to Joanna. She's done a marvelous job, a great legacy. It's amazing what she's accomplished in 20 years. And what we've talked about, 100 students, is going to happen because of the work that Joanna's done and what Kellie will do. A couple things. I want to encapsulate what I think is kind of talks about Joanna's effort. There was nothing here in 2003. She had to create the foundation, apply for the status, but then actually created it, picking the board members, figuring out what to do. For the first 5 or 10 years, she was going over to a country that really didn't accept women in leadership roles and engage them, but she did it. She created a foundation that did not exist, an international foundation, and it did not exist, but she did it. Tonight, for example, she did not know how to fundraise, and yet we are financially sound. We have more than enough money to help the students, and it's because Joanna learned how to fundraise and did it very well. So well done, Joanna. You leave a great legacy. I'm proud of you, and we will miss you, but I'm more about celebrating your retirement than mulling over your leaving, because you did a great job doing what you're doing. The other part of my talk tonight, and we talked a little bit about, Mike Shields is going to talk in a minute, but I wanted to recognize the family, because they sacrificed while Joanna was in Bosnia. They sacrificed financially because Joanna and Mike were really giving to the organization. I just wanted to say thank you to the Shields family. Well done.
And then my last task is to assure everybody that's been a supporter of Jericho that Kellie's going to do a great job. Joanna took some of my thunder, but she didn't know I was going to talk, so I can't say anything. But we did during COVID, I learned a lot about Zoom. I did a little bit before I retired, but now I'm an expert. I still have my account. I don't know why. But anyway, we interviewed over 100 people, internationally and across the United States. That's when I found out everybody was trying to escape New York, because we were getting a lot of people wanting to come to Midwest Michigan. They didn't know anything about it, but they wanted to be here. But then they said, wait a minute, doesn't that work? No, I'll stop. So we interviewed 100 people. We got down to a couple candidates, and Joanna was right. There was something missing. Partially it was a heart for Jericho, but it was also the grit. And that is something that we've talked about as a board. That is a characteristic of people that run Jericho. And that's where, when Joanna approached me and asked me about Kellie, are you in? She says, yeah. I said, I think I could support that. Will she? And she says, I don't know, I'll talk to her. So she planted the seed, and Kellie said yes. So we went through the interview process with her, and the board unanimously said she's the one. So I want to assure you, she has the grit, she has the passion. Damn it, I said I wouldn't do that. Anyway, you have our assurance she will do a great job, and she has the board's full support. Thank you.
So I'm not supposed to be here. And Joanna, I know it can be a little chatterbox, so I'm going to keep this to 3 minutes. First of all, I want to thank, well, I'm Mike Shields, or Mr. Joanna Shields. And I want to thank all of you sincerely, that this staff and board and the other board members who have been on the board and have moved forward. You have been a blessing to my wife and to the students and to the organization. It's an excellent board. It always has been, and the leadership is amazing. To the many volunteers, the endless hours, the caring, the loving, just the inspiration that they have provided in really not asking for any recognition. Traveling to Bosnia, working here, doing all kinds of things. It's really an amazing story. The host families. The host families have been an amazing blessing. The love and caring they have given. And when I just came back for 2.5 weeks in Bosnia, and one of the things that every student that had been there and shared time with the host family just talked about that unique experience and saw every one of those people as a parent, as a family member that had somehow come to their aid, their rescue. It's just amazing. And then what's really amazing are the businesses that have somehow saw value. There's so many people in need. There's so many people in this community. There's so many people in Southwest Michigan and in this country in need that businesses could justify to lend a hand with these internships in a place that many before this organization didn't even know existed. So I thank you. But most of all, guys, I thank my kids. I thank you for your sacrifices, for the many times when you were little and you had to stay with me without your mother for 2 weeks. And yeah, I remember one time they were getting a little rambunctious, and you know, I pulled out of the garage through a garage door. So you guys are amazing. I love you dearly, and I love the support that each and every one of you have given your mother, and I love your partners and the love that they've given to my wife. Thank you. This won't take long. I'm almost there. But what is really amazing is these two people, Melisa and Joanna. And Joanna and I, for years when we talk about this, we talk about it as a God thing. There's no other explanation to us. How did we arrive in this situation? And Melisa, you are an amazing woman, but you are an amazing young person. Your courage to step out, your instincts, your vision at a young age, talking to us at 14 and explaining. We knew she was bright. We knew she needed an education, and she knew it. But she was the one that really helped form this organization and how to go about this. She told us, I can't leave my home, okay? I can't leave my home. I can't leave my family. I can't leave my country. And that really set this organization in the direction that it's been so successful. And it works. It works. It's amazing. Your family, the resilience your mother, your father, your sister had, the perseverance is just amazing, the courage that you all had. And we love your family. Just, you are our family. Joanna, you've been a gift. This has been a gift, Jericho, to our family. There's times it's been a struggle. There's times that sacrifices were made, but there isn't anything that anyone does that there isn't sacrifice and difficulties. It's been a great growing experience for our kids, and they always rose to the challenge when they needed to. Your attention for detail, your passion, but most of all, your faith. I respect your faith. You've made this a spirit-driven organization, a spirit-driven organization. And the board has made this a spirit-driven. The volunteers, the host families, even the businesses, they understand it. And that mission is really from that command of loving our neighbors as ourselves. Not seeing our differences, but seeing the common element that we all have in this world. The differences are our strengths. So, honey, I love you dearly. And I'm so proud of the job you've done. Thank you. 5 minutes, sorry. Now, our new director, Kellie.
Okay. Wow, what a night to celebrate. So, I'm nervous, so I'm going to probably read a little bit more. I cannot express how thrilled I am to have the confidence of the board of directors to become the new executive director of the Jericho Foundation. And I'd like to share a little bit about my story. My Jericho journey started in 2017 when I helped with the Jericho's online marketing. As I learned more about the foundation and the students' personal stories, I knew this organization was different from others that I had worked with. This group was doing more than just giving money to solve a problem. They were implementing a change through a holistic approach with leadership seminars and supporting systems set in place for the students. I saw how students grew emotionally, caring for each other, and the grit they exhibit. They have such grit. Through the obstacles that they had to overcome and still do in everyday lives was something that it really spoke to my heart. Even though I was inspired by the awesome stories of hope for generational change I saw Jericho providing for the students, I was not thinking about a career change or any leadership position, such as being on the board or executive director. But what I did often think when watching Joanna was, wow, she has a dream job. Don't get me wrong, I saw all the hard work she did and the long hours she put in, but I would think how fulfilling of a job that she has, and that would be an awesome career. Then in February 2018, I lost my husband to cancer. The outpouring of emotional support I received from these Jericho students, that was something I could not believe and certainly couldn't ignore it. My skeptical American brain kept saying and thinking, who are these people? They don't even know me. Yet what they were saying was speaking to a part of my heart that needed it. That led me to my first BIH leadership seminar in 2019. This was when I realized they were real, and what they were saying and their emotional support for me only intensified. This was a group of people I needed to pay even more attention to. I realized that there was something there. One of the things I learned after experiencing my first seminar was I was able to see in action the holistic approach that Jericho takes with their scholarships. This is a foundation, like I said, that didn't just hand money over to students for their college tuition. They also provide leadership seminars where they did a deeper dive into each student will need other than their education to be a successful, functioning employee. That's really the end goal. Jericho was teaching and training soft skill sets, recognizing trauma triggers and tools to help deal with them, and teaching students about peace building, leadership, and business skills, all topics that they would not get from the university classes. I had never had such a rewarding experience. That's when I knew I wanted to be more involved. So in 2020, I was invited to be on the board as a board member and went back for every fall and spring leadership seminar since then. When I listened to the search committee for Joanna's replacement give feedback during our board meetings, I would think, these are qualified people being interviewed, but they were not asking what was our mission. They were not asking about our students, and they were not, therefore, asking about our heart, our motivation. That's Jericho. The board did not select any of those candidates, and the continue for the search went on. In the fall of 2021, the story goes, over a cup of coffee, sitting outside a cafe in Mostar, Joanna looked at me and asked, "Why aren't you applying for my position?" I replied, "Me? You think I can do your job?" She said, simply, "You have the heart for our mission, and the students will teach you." They taught me. The question led to several months of praying. Okay, God, if this is where you meant for my life to go, please speak loudly enough for me to hear, because I don't always hear you. Well, he did speak loudly enough. In the spring, I announced to the board that I wanted to be considered for the executive director position and wanted to go through the same process as all the other candidates. I wanted to make sure that if I took this position on, it was with the full support of the board. That the donors and the students would know that it was not just handed to me, that I will work just as hard as Joanna. And so, After several rounds of interview, the board came back with unanimous yes, and my journey and path in Jericho started. I pinched myself that now I get to wake up every day knowing that I'm helping a generation of amazing, academically talented, tender-hearted students to be world changers for the good of their forgotten country. There are no words to express how incredibly thankful I am to the board, and even more so to Joanna for believing in me and to lead the foundation and its team. So to all the Jericho students and JoJo, I promise always with my full heart to give everything I have, strength and spirit, to do both my best and what is best for the mission to continue to empowering the youth of BIH, one student at a time, for a positive impact in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I hope you'll all join with me in our quest to increase the number of students we serve each year. I welcome your suggestions and advice, and I look forward to partnering with you and all the supporters from around the country who could not be with us tonight to keep the light of the Jericho Foundation shining brightly in the lives of students in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Thank you.
The three of us just wanted to stand before you. So Kelly and I are excited to introduce Melisa Hidic-Kobic to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, it's hard to stand up here after everything you heard and witnessed. I've tried so hard not to cry, and I failed at that task, so I'm going to proceed to my next. So good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you on my behalf and on behalf of all the Jericho students in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So every new person you meet can change your life forever. It's just a line I ran into recently, and it made me think about my life. It made me wonder, who would I be? What would my life look like? What would I be doing if I hadn't met Joanna that day in a refugee camp? One is for sure, I won't not be who I am today if there wasn't for Joanna. So I'm just gonna use this opportunity and say how grateful I am to the whole Shields family, to Joanna and Mike, to AJ, Kate, Cam and Pat. I'm sorry. For taking me into your family and for having understanding for your mother when she was in Bosnia. I was born in 1984. That's the year when the Winter Olympics were held in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So of course our country was all over the news. The other time my country was all over the news was 1992 when the war broke out. I was 8 at that time. Luckily, me and my family were able to reach Croatia. When we were forced to leave our country, we went to Croatia and moved to a refugee camp where we were safe and not hungry, and we spent 4 years in that camp. It's the same refugee camp where I met Joanna Shields. We connected immediately, and we have stayed in touch ever since. It was Joanna that cared enough for me and my family. Finally, after 4 years, the war was over, and my family wanted to move back home and to continue our lives where we left off. But that life was over. It could never be as it used to be. Our problems have just started. There was no home. There was no house to go back to. Actually, it took us a long 7 years before we could even start rebuilding our home. It was the territory that we couldn't approach, so we waited for 7 years before we started. And I'll just let you know that still my house is not finished, so we're rebuilding all over again and still. I was an excellent student in high school. I finished high school as first in my class, so obviously I wanted to go to college. I wanted to be a pharmacist, an engineer, or an architect. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to go to college. And I knew that my parents could not afford to put me through college. My father was unemployed. My mother was housewife. So I knew that going to college would be just a dream. In 2003, I started going to college. That was when Mike and Joanna told me, "You will go to college." And they made sure I did. So every new person you meet can change your life forever. This is the point where my life took another course, totally different than we could imagine, than we could afford. That's the point where it made me who I am today. I ended up being a pharmacist. I finished pharmacy school in Sarajevo, and now I'm working as a pharmacist, but in marketing, pharmaceutical marketing. I have 2 children. My children have both of their parents working. They're lucky. Not all children in Bosnia have that luck. A lot of them still don't have that because a lot of young people are unemployed. So one would think that the war in Bosnia is ancient history. It was so long ago, 26 years ago it ended. A new generation of adults have been born and grown up since the war ended. One would think that those young adults don't even know what war is, and that they have just heard stories. But they still live the consequences of the war. These young adults, unfortunately, are still living what happened even before they were born. They have parents with PTSD. Their parents often don't have jobs. The youth are overwhelmed with the political situation in the country that is so complicated that I can't even start explaining it. Working possibilities for the young people are so limited. Part-time jobs for students are so rare because those part-time jobs are taken by adults who don't have a choice. Going to college can increase the chance to find good jobs for those young adults. There are so many smart, wonderful young people that want to go to college but don't have the opportunity. It's hard to get a scholarship in the country because we don't have scholarship funds. Some other things are funded with greater priority. Even if the small funds we have are so small, and the amounts that those kids get are enough to cover maybe school lunch every day. So that's not enough. Jericho Foundation is unique regarding the program and the expenses covered. They give scholarships that really make sure that all the children go through the schooling all the way, so whatever it takes. All of these young adults need some support, some guidance and help. They need someone to help change their lives and provide the tools to succeed. Every one of you that are here tonight can be that someone for them. I just ask you to think about that. You all have a picture on your table of a real person whose life you can change. It does not take a lot. It just takes a little to be the person who changed someone's life forever. Thank you very much.
10th of May, it was Sunday, and exactly at 12 o'clock, first grenade fell.
Over 100,000 people were killed during the war. However, it will never be possible to determine the final number. Over 2.2 million people were displaced, making it at the time the most devastating conflict in Europe since the end of World War II. The war resulted in a segregated Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country divided by nationality and religion. BIH is estimated to have 153 landmines per square mile still today. Unfortunately, the war took place in small villages like Melisa's, as well as developed cities like Sarajevo. The siege on Sarajevo continued for 1,425 days and was the longest military siege in modern history.
This village here, there was around 400 houses. When we came back, none of them had a roof.
Do you remember how it was?
Yeah. So I remember coming, and they told us that we could buy knitted slippers or things that people had made in the camp. And I only had like one bill with me, so I knew I could only buy one thing. And I remember like looking and thinking, how will I make that decision?
She remembers like I came into our barrack, into the room, and said, Mom, there are this Americans are here and they're buying handmade stuff. And when you saw me, you said, I have a daughter too. And we talked a little bit, and you bought the sweater, and we invited you to come into our room. We told you were gonna write to me. Yeah. You promised. And I would also write letters with a little dictionary.
So if you had not asked me into your home, there wouldn't be a Jericho. Think of that one act of kindness and all the students that have been helped. I mean, you didn't look at me as someone different. You looked at me as a mother. We had children. So you have helped hundreds of children in Bosnia.
hard time comes by when my dad has gotten his injury because he had a broken leg, and with that it came all the problems because he had stuff in his body from the war.
Prije rata je bilo, hajmo reći, bolje nego sada za mene, za moju generaciju. Prvi dan, od prvog dana vučen, od 91. 9. mjesec do mog stradanja 93. 7. mjeseca. Za to vrijeme rata možda je neko upamtio, možda nije tu strahota bila. Nastradao sam 93. Kako je bilo, bilo je. Prije smo mi zajedno vodali, ja i moja sadašnja žena, i zabavljali se. Za vrijeme rata, kad sam nastradao, mi smo se rastali.
Nakon toga meni je brat u Sarajevu poginuo i mama mi je bila u Sarajevu sama, tako da sam ja krajem 93. otišla u Sarajevo sama, nakon 3 dana putovala ispod aerodromske piste i tu sam dočekala kraj rata. Kad se rat završio, ja sam otišla sestru u posjetu do Švedske, vratila se i onda smo se ponovo sreli i uzeli. I nakon toga, nakon završetka rata, situacija je bila jednako teška kao i u toku rata. U toku rata nismo imali hrane, nismo imali struje, to se već zna. Ali poslije rata nismo imali posla, što je bilo najpotrebnije posao. Kuće su se nekako i obnovile, ali posao je jako bilo teško naći. Onda stigla Melina, pa nakon toga Delila, treća Imica. I tako da smo živjeli od njegove minimalne penzije. Nije bilo dovoljno za djecu da se školuju, tako da je ta stipendija nam uveliko olakšala život i veliki teret, brigu sa srca sklonila.
I'm Melina Beganović and I'm 5th year Jericho Scholarship student.
Hi, I'm Delila Beganović and I'm 2nd year Jericho Scholarship student.
Hi, I'm Iman Beganović and I'm a future Jericho student.
So our focus has shifted from relief to systematic change. Melisa is why we started. Delila is why we continue.
It doesn't seem like a great situation, like an amazing situation, but this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is where my everything is first. I could bring a change, I could do something good, I could contribute to my society, to our country, so why would I leave?
I want to study medicine. I want to become a doctor. My dad didn't have a job for a long time because they did not have a college, they did not even have a finished high school, so it was pretty tough on them. I want to do something. I mean, the situation here is not great, but I want to contribute just a little bit to make something different. I want to be that change. I want to be someone's hope.
Right now, I see all of you who are thriving, and even though you are struggling sometimes, you are not giving up.
Jericho Leadership Seminars bring together students of all ethnic and religious backgrounds to build unity and offer professional training as well as emotional skills. BIH does not offer student loans, and Jericho is the only organization providing full scholarships in the country.
When I received the scholarship, I was very happy and excited because that was my only chance left for me to continue fighting for my original goals that I really wanted.
I found that information that I'm going to be the part of this scholarship and this family. It was a huge day.
I don't have enough words to say how much I'm thankful. You gave me hope, you made my dreams come true.
Since graduating, Zorana is employed full-time as a graphic designer in BIH and continues to win awards for her work throughout the world.
Thank you for the hope, the strongest weapon that any student can have. And it's easier when you know that someone cares about you and your future.
The war happened. We can't forget it, but we are changing the future, and you are helping us.
For us, it was education. Our parents and our teachers made sure to keep us engaged. Even though we didn't have food or water or electricity for days or weeks on end, we would still get in trouble for not doing our homework or for getting a bad grade. And as insane as it seems, I think it's the wisest decisions the adults in our lives made. School is one of the universal equalizers. Children all over the world worry about tests, grades, studying, playing, meeting friends. Knowledge is one of the only things a child has that can never be taken. So living in an occupied, besieged, war-torn country, our parents shifted our focus from survival to regular activities a child should be concerned with. And this has always stayed with me. In 1995, my family was blessed to receive refugee status and immigrated to the United States, to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm sure you guys wondered why my English was so good. We were able to escape the dangers and chaos of war and subsequent repercussions of rebuilding a war-torn country. And I was blessed to graduate Ann Arbor Public Schools and then receive direct admits acceptance to Indiana Kelley School of Business. So I'm a Hoosier. And this set me up for what I wanted to do in life. But I always knew that I wanted to move back to Bosnia and give living in my homeland a try. So in 2011, I moved back, and it was one of the greatest decisions of my life. I was able to leverage the amazing education I received in the US and the work ethic I gained here, and to make a difference in my life and the lives of those around me. I became the head of a large risk department in one of the biggest banks in the country by 28, and then a CEO of an international company by 30. Then when I was ready to make a change from banking, I was able to pivot to chief of staff at Upend.com, which is a company founded in San Francisco. I now have the opportunity to work with companies such as Pure Finance Group, and when they met me and saw my passion about these students, they are now a Jericho Foundation donor. And if that wasn't enough, I work with other companies that give back to the talented people in Beja to form bridges between the US and my homeland. But my story is that many people of talent in Bosnia would have been able to replicate had they had the opportunities that I received. Unfortunately, due to war and the ensuing circumstances beyond their control, they never had a chance to achieve their dreams and to reach their potentials. So this is where Jericho comes in. Joanna asked me to be a speaker for Jericho during one of their seminars in April of this year, and to speak to the students about setting up their careers for success. And as many of you here know, it's nearly impossible to say no to Joanna. So I had an opportunity to meet these students, and I was blown away. For almost an hour, While I was speaking to them, answering questions, not a single student was checked out or scrolling through their phones. There they were, a group of 18 to 24-year-olds, completely engaged and present in the moment. And then when I got a chance to speak with them one-on-one, I was even more amazed at the self-awareness, their hunger for knowledge, and the motivation that they showed. And I realized I wanted to do more to help this special group of young adults reach their goals. I asked Joanna how they found this group of students because they were so far above the standard Bosnian student I was used to interviewing for my internships at my companies. And she explained the rigorous application process, the numerous interviews, the site visits to their homes that the foundation conducts. And then she went on to explain the holistic approach to healing the trauma, facilitating integration and overcoming prejudice, plus the internship programs in the US and the cultural experience the program provides. And it works. So listening to these students and watching them speak to each other and to us, you can see that it works. And in a country with over 40% unemployment, graduates of Jericho have 100% employment rate. But we need your help to keep it working. So please help me ensure that Jericho is able to continue their mission and reach as many students as possible. I ask you to open your hearts and your wallets and help Jericho on their mission. As Mark mentioned earlier, our goal was to raise $150,000. But looking at you guys, listening to Melisa and all the speeches, I think we can do $200,000. So we want this to fully fund the 58 students to ensure that their education continues and award 10 new scholarships for the coming year. For those who are already donating to Jericho as a one-time or monthly donors, I thank you with all my heart. I ask you to consider increasing current donations even only by $10 or $15 per month. Inflation. And if you're new tonight, would you consider joining the Jericho family as a monthly or one-time donor? Every dollar makes an impact and helps us get closer to our goal. I want to ask you to take the donation envelope inside your brochure. Please fill them out and place them in the large black envelope on the table. A Jericho volunteer will pick it up. Thank you for your investment and promise that you are impacting a life, like mine, that can make you a lasting impact in this world. Thank you again for your willingness to participate in our Night of Hope. You truly are bringing hope to students who otherwise would never have this opportunity. I hope you will give and bring transformation to not only their lives, but the entire country of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Thank you.